a strong 4.1 earthquake and earthquake swarm that's been going on for the past week rattles Texas at the New Mexico-Texas border, an area that doesn't have much of a population but is still felt in Mexico, New Mexico, and Texas, just west of Odessa, around El Paso. Let's take a look at the maps, see what's going on there. This is our area here, New Mexico, Texas, Mexico. And let's go to the aerial. That's it right there. And you can see how big of an extension it is. If you extend these frequencies, it could be pretty big. Now let's go to this map, Sizewell Berkeley. This is it right here, 4.1, 5 kilometers depth. And this is the other one, 2.5. And this is the quake swarm that we've had this past week. I didn't put the smaller than 2.5, but we can load those up as well to see what's going on. Okay. These are our quakes. That's a quake swarm. Odessa, Juarez, right there. It's not New Mexico, it's right here on the border of Texas and New Mexico. And our quake map. Now, most of North America east of the Rockies has infrequent earthquakes. Here and there, earthquakes are more numerous, for example, in New Madrid seismic zone, centered on southeastern Missouri, and the Charlevoix-Kamarusca seismic zone of eastern Quebec, in New England, New York, Philadelphia, Wilmington urban corridor, and elsewhere. But most of the enormous region from Rockies to the Atlantic can go years without an earthquake large enough to be felt. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. And several U.S. states have never reported damaging earthquake. Earthquakes east of the Rockies, which is this one here, although less frequent in the west, are typically felt over a much broader region than earthquakes of similar magnitude in the west. East of the Rockies, an earthquake can be felt over an area more than 10 times larger than a similar magnitude earthquake on the west coast. It would not be unusual for a magnitude 4, this is today's quake 4.1, earthquake in eastern or central North America to be felt by a significant percentage of the population in many communities more than 60 miles from its source. A 5.5 magnitude earthquake in east or central North America might be felt by much of the population out to about 300 miles from its source. Earthquakes east of the Rockies that are centered in population areas and large enough to cause damage are similarly likely to cause damage out to greater distances than earthquakes of the same magnitude centered in western North America. Induced seismicity, man-made earthquakes, hydrofracking, for example. As is the case elsewhere in the world, there is evidence that some central and eastern North American earthquakes have been triggered or caused by human activities that have altered the stress conditions in Earth's crust sufficiently to induce faulting. Activities that have induced felt earthquakes in some geological environments have induced impoundment of water behind dams, injection of fluid into the Earth's crust, that's hydrofracking, extraction of fluid or gases, removal of rock in mining or quarrying operations. In much of eastern and central North America, the number of earthquakes suspected of having been induced is much smaller than the number of natural earthquakes. But in some regions, such as south-central states of the U.S., a significant majority of recent earthquakes are thought by many seismologists to have been human-induced. Even within areas that many human-induced earthquakes, however, the activity that seems to induce seismicity at one location may be taking place at another location, many other locations, without inducing felt earthquakes. In addition, the regions with frequent induced earthquakes may also be subject to damaging earthquakes that would have occurred independently of human activity. Making a strong scientific case for a causative link between a particular human activity and a particular sequence of earthquakes typically involves special studies devoted to specifically to the question, and such investigations usually address a process by which the suspected triggering activity might have significantly altered stresses in the bedrock and the earthquake source, and they commonly address the ways in which the characteristics of the suspected human-triggered quakes differ from characteristics of natural earthquakes in the region. Now the thing is this, if this is an induced quake, we see that they seem to be getting bigger. You know, they started at like 1, 1.5, 1.8, 2, 2.5, 3. If this is an induced quake, I mean 4.1, my goodness, I mean, that could damage your house. Okay, so this is what's going on in Texas. And I'll make another video concerning what's going on in Cascadia. This one here only has one showing. Well, it's not one, it's hundreds today. PNSN shows us. So all of you there, please be very careful. Oh, we saw that we have another one in the New Madrid seismic zone, 3 magnitude. Okay, and again, here we have our 3.8 in Kansas. Yesterday I put up, that's today's quake. Yesterday I put up a video concerning the kimberlite volcanoes of Kansas. There's 13 found up to now. They keep finding more every few years. Those are the diamond spewing volcanoes of Kansas, 13 of them. So all of you there in Kansas know that you have diamond spewing volcanoes there as well. Please be alert and careful. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support.